Welcome to the Zero Trust Journey podcast, created by cybersecurity practitioners for those walking the same path. We share real stories, hard lessons, and hard-won victories from the field, so you can sidestep the pitfalls and deliver the wins. Grab your coffee, tune out the buzzwords, and let's get into the real story right here on the Zero Trust Journey podcast.
Welcome back to the Zero Trust Journey podcast. I am your host, Victor Monga. Today, we are unpacking the human element of cybersecurity. Joining us is Craig Taylor, whose 25-year journey in the industry began before the internet was even a mainstream concept. Craig brings massive operational experience as a former Chief Information Security Officer at Neoscope and a few others that I want to know more, where he specialized in designing cybersecurity and risk management programs, specifically for the, SMB market. Craig, I want to learn more about your topic in hand, which is cyber literacy and phishing defense. We want to dive into it with some hard facts and why so many legacy security strategies are failing us. Craig, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, Victor. I really appreciate being here, and I appreciate that introduction. To really understand where we're trying to move the industry, we have to go back a little bit on my history, on my personal journey. 30 years ago, I got a degree in psychology, understanding people, how they learn, what motivates them to learn and to engage, and what demotivates them and to disengage. And then I realized I needed a PhD, like Dr. Monga here, you have, to do anything meaningful in psychology. And I wasn't prepared for that at that time. I was done with school. So I went into cybersecurity. I thought that's a great future. There's hard to outsource that. It's hard to move it. And It seems that this internet might catch on. It might become a big thing. And so it was a good bet. And so fast forward over the last 3 decades, I've worked as a cybersecurity lead CISO at JP Morgan Chase, Vistaprint, and a handful of smaller businesses on a part-time basis, with me being one of them, while building my company, Cyber Hoot, which is a learning management platform, for the last 14 years, 12 years, really.
So let's talk about it. Sure. What made you start your own company? And I do want to learn more about the name. How did you choose that?
Well, where I grew up in Canada, we had Smokey the Bandit. He was a bear, and he had this phrase, "Give a hoot, don't pollute." And somehow knowledge, owls, and that old-time logo from Canada all kind of coalesced, but I can't take credit for it. My partner came up with the name ultimately, but it fits so well with what we are trying to impart.
Sure.
A little bit of knowledge with caring about your business, caring about your cyber literacy, and that it's all attainable with a little bit of effort. So that's really where Cyber Hoot came from. And the domain name was available.
Okay, yeah, that's always helpful. Craig, we have spent decades putting employees through annual security awareness training. Almost every company I've worked for or consulted, they have one way or the other this security awareness training, and a lot of the compliance requires this.
Yes.
A lot of the research that I see, especially from 2025 study, University of Chicago, UC San Diego, they found literally no evidence that annual security awareness training correlates with reduced phishing failures. Industry stats, again, when I'm looking at it, 70% to 90% percent of the employees still behave insecurely, even after completing these traditional trainings, I should say, including myself. I've gone through it, and every now and then I click on it. Yes, we have good technology these days which catches it, but what if you don't have it? What if it was not configured appropriately? With your deep background, especially in the psychology, where exactly did the industry, this cybersecurity industry, go wrong? With this legacy awareness programs, did we not create it right, or are we not heading towards the right direction? And how do we actually engineer or re-engineer a shift in human behavior instead of just checking in compliance box?
That is the number one question that we need to ask, and that the industry of cybersecurity, cyber literacy needs to dive deeply into. What's happened here is that we've had a single focus on reducing breaches.
Right.
But we didn't take a look at it holistically or from a multidisciplinary approach. Had we done that 20 years ago, we'd be in a very different world today, honestly, with programs that actually engage employees in ways that they don't mind, that they actually participate in willingly and change their ultimate behavior through an internal locus of control.
Right.
What cybersecurity did 20 years ago was say, oh my gosh, we have these people that are clicking on phishing links. That's still today the number one way businesses
Still
in the big
happening.
market are being breached. It's been on steroids with AI, making it more believable,
Yeah.
tailored to the individual, and more scale to the attacks. So it's only getting far, far worse under AI. And the technology has been okay at preventing it, but it's never 100%. So things get through and then people click. And the industry said, well, we have to stop the click. We have to punish the click so people stop clicking. But they didn't take a look at other industries or other areas of domain expertise to say, what's the best way to stop people, to change people's behavior? If you think about, let's take one example, dog training. You can train a dog to do different skills, fetch a ball, sit and stay,
Right.
possibly with a shock collar. But the dog doesn't really like that. And if you shock the dog too many times, they shut down. They stop wanting to even participate. They
Right.
go into a corner in the best case. In the worst case, they get aggressive. But what if you use treats, food-based treats?
Positive reinforcement.
Positive reinforcement, right? That's straight out of the psychology textbook from 75 years ago. B.F. Skinner, the father of operant conditioning, said rewarded behaviors are repeated. He never once said punished behaviors are extinguished. Okay? Yeah. But that's what cybersecurity thinks is the answer. Punish those behaviors, make them stop. And if they don't, use a bigger stick and use bigger consequences. 3 strikes, terminate them. That'll show we mean business.
And I correct me if I'm wrong, cybersecurity was initiated as part of the IT world. So we think 0-1, we think binary.
Yes.
This topic in hand, this problem in hand is not binary. It's not 0-1. It's human emotions, human empathy, human psychology. So that's where I think the problem is. We are trying to solve a human problem with 0-1 binary solutions.
You're absolutely right. That's an interesting perspective. I haven't thought about that too much because it just doesn't compute for me. I am not a binary person. I never was a programmer. I was a social psychology student, and then I took cybersecurity, and it actually paired very well because I designed programs to meet people where they're at. What do you know today, and how can I move you to a greater understanding of the world? Password managers, password security, phishing, social engineering, the whole gamut. And I had to do it in ways that people understood or would listen to. Think about politics today. Everyone is talking. No one is listening, right? Unless someone starts to listen, no one will listen. And it takes 2 people. There's a famous book that said, listen first to understand what Victor is trying to say, and then only then to be understood. You're not going to listen to me, Victor, if I don't tell you, I heard you, I understand you, and I know where you're coming from. This is true in psychology. It's true in communications, in politics, in incarcerated adults, in parenting, and in cybersecurity. So if we don't take the multidisciplinary approach where we look at the shades of gray and we go through all of those other avenues, we're not going to succeed. Behaviors will only be controlled externally with external focus or locus of control through punishment. The moment the punishment is not there, or even when it's there, think about incarcerated adults. Did any one of them say, if I make this crime, I will go to jail, so maybe I won't. Maybe I shouldn't. It all happens, and it comes down the road. The punishment is later. Nobody cares about punishments later. So we need to meet them where they are with positive reinforcement, with gamification. I like to say this analogy as well. I don't enjoy working out. Right in the name is like work. Who enjoys working out to stay in shape? But I tell you what, I love playing sports.
Right.
And
that's competitive, it's good, it's healthy, and it has that positive reinforcement of winning, that I will win.
I will win, or I will engage, I will have a good time. Yeah. And by the way, I'm also getting in shape. I'm staying physically fit. So there's this hidden secret benefit. That's the outcome. It's the same as going to work out, but without all the boredom and the dullness. Right? Cybersecurity programs that don't pay attention to gamification and positive reinforcement are doomed to fail. And this is something the industry is just beginning to wake up to. My company, Cyber Hoot, has been doing this since our beginning, but there are one or two other companies out there doing it in a crowded field of 50 who are making better and bigger sticks to whack employees over the head with, or shock collars to shock their employees into submission and not clicking. But it doesn't work. And the study showed that.
I want to talk about your publication. So you have documented the risks of social engineering extensively, and it's called A Cautionary Phishing Tale. But the landscape we are dealing with is pretty much shifting dramatically. You mentioned that some of the AI part of it. Some of the research that I focus on, it shows that AI-generated phishing emails have 60 to 80% higher click rate than traditional human written because of the grammar or the urgency or that empathy was not added, but now with AI it is. Attackers are using Gen AI to create perfectly written, highly personalized and specialized lures that completely eliminates the classic typos, as I said. How do organizations need to adapt their phishing resilience strategies when the old advice of looking for bad spelling is completely obsolete?
Well, the same principles of identifying phishing apply today with AI as did, say, 5 years ago without AI. The only difference between today's phishing and the AI from before, the phishing from before, is the frequency, the impact. If you were to click, the damages are worse and more rapid. The believability, the specificity to you, your social media profile is fed into the AI bot and it sends 10 different highly specific phishing emails that you would very much like to click on because they're your passions, they're your pastimes, they're your sports activities, they're your family. It's all unique to you. So you really do get tied and sucked in with an emotional, urgent response, pattern, but the same training that we've always delivered to pause and assess and report remain the same. P.A.R, P.A.R, pause, assess, report. Those emails, it remains the same. And the thing about our exercise at Cyber Hoot is we get the positive reinforcement. So people do them, they practice them, kind of like high intensity interval training. They're little 30-second to 1 minute exercises once a month. And they practice that enough that it becomes muscle memory. So as you get that urgent email that is really appealing to you, but it's from this strange vendor or source that you have familiar with, you have that automatic reaction to pause instead of react. Even though everything in the emails are designed to make you react, with anything in life, if you react without thinking, mistakes follow.
100%.
Pausing and assessing and continuing. It's largely the same rubric to approach all emails as it always was.
As you're wrapping up this one, what is one thing that Craig would say this industry, especially the security awareness, phishing awareness trainings, this one industry has gotten it right? We heard all the bad things. We heard all the wrong things. What is one thing we got it right from the beginning that we are...
Well, I was going to say, when you added from the beginning, I thought, that changes it. So let me tell you a quick story. NIST, National Institute Standards and Technology, in 2003, said passwords should be 9 characters, complex, change every 90 days. And what the industry got right is they recognized about 5 to 10 years ago that was bad advice. And so they reissued their advice. They said, we got it wrong. We made a mistake. We're not perfect. It should be 15 characters in length today. That's the standard. It should be complex and randomized, but stored in a password manager. So that if you make a mistake clicking on in reaction to an email to log into your Facebook account, and you go to the site and your password manager sits there going, I don't know where you are, but it's not Facebook. You think as a human, you're on Facebook. It says Facebook. It's the exact same page you log into probably earlier in the week. But your password manager recognizes that you've been tricked. The domain is different. There might be 1 letter difference. There might be a period between face and book, or the O might be a 0, or any number of 1 letter differences can occur. But your password manager doesn't recognize it because it only recognizes the true domain where you log. And it saves you. So the industry as a whole has gotten it right when it comes to password hygiene, password management by changing its advice, recognizing when it made a mistake, And it can do so the same with phishing by pushing password managers. And if you go forward to today's world, passkey adoption is
Yes.
a wonderful thing. And I highly encourage anyone that has the opportunity to adopt them, that they do. It's the equivalent of MFA and a password in a single action,
But
supporting your
minus the
password
old
manager.
hassle. Minus all the
Minus
hassle.
the headaches. Yes. Yes.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Craig, for bringing your raw, unvarnished expertise to the show today. To our listeners, remember to subscribe to LinkedIn page for news updates and quizzes to earn digital badges. Visit ztjourney.com to learn more. Once again, Craig, thanks so much for being on the show.
My pleasure. Thank you.
That's a wrap on this Zero Trust journey. Now it's your turn. Step into the spotlight, share your story, and be part of the journey. Subscribe to Zero Trust Journey on LinkedIn for the latest news, events, and giveaways. Until next time.